We are going to be editing Sasha today. She is a blue Merle color pattern. They're calling her a terrier American Pit Bull mix. Not really sure why this body type does not match a pit bull. This is the strangest looking pit bull I've ever seen. She was a very fun dog, and she just picked up a leaf. And I think I got some other photos that might have technically been better photos of her, but I just absolutely love that she had a leaf in her mouth. It's freaking adorable. So I'm going to go ahead and press R and get into the crop menu and do a 4x5 crop as I usually do. So it matches everything on the website. And I'm going to do something a little bit unconventional with my crop here. So I really just want to focus on the dog and how cute she is in the face. The tail just makes the photo too large. I'm going to cut off the tail here. I don't really like it. And I'm using my rule of thirds and I'm centering up that leaf on that corner there and getting that eye along the line as well as the body of the dog. And I think that's fine. I don't like that the tail's cut off, but that's just how the tail landed. She is more profile than I normally like. I prefer a 3/4, but this is what I had. Now that the crop is done, I'm going to go ahead and use this white picker tool to get my white balance. I'm going to go ahead and use the tag here, and that warmed it up quite a bit. And I'm going to use saturation, pull that all the way up. You see the image is a little bit on the warm side. I'm going to drag that temperature down a bit to get more of a neutral color and do a saturation check. And I think I'm a lot closer there than the white picker had. So now I'm going to use the auto button. That's just going to give me a place to start. And it did an okay job. I'm going to head over to the mask tool. I'm going to use a subject mask. And it did select the volunteer as well, but that's okay. I'm going to get rid of her in Photoshop, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm going to apply my dog contrast curve. And that just creates a medium contrast curve. Texture, clarity, and dehaze are set to 7, and sharpness is set to 17. Go ahead and I'm going to reduce the contrast a little bit by raising the shadows and decreasing the highlights. Don't need to do that too much with this one, but I always find the contrast a little bit too strong with the contrast curve. So that's what it did. I'm going to raise the exposure a little bit on this pup. And there's no dominant color in this dog's fur because of its color pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and take the saturation down a bit. That's going to have the effect of cleaning the fur a little bit and taking away a little bit of that color cast that showed up. And I think it actually did a good enough job that I do see a little bit of that green there, but I don't really need to mask it out because it looks natural enough. I'm going to go ahead and use this object selection mask. I'm going to mask out the eyes, mask out the other eye. I'm going to bring up the exposure. And so sometimes when it selects the eye, it does something weird. So this eye didn't get like fully selected. It got like partially selected. Now we have that exposure up, maybe a little bit too high. I was able to add a full stop before it started looking a little weird. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of temperature or add some warmth there, add some saturation, and that's just going to give it a little bit of color pop. And now to get rid of the leash, I need to head over to Photoshop. Over here in Photoshop, I'm going to press J, and I already have the remove tool selected. If not, it's also in the left bar, or I could just press J. I'm going to use Command plus, zoom in, and I'm going to get rid of part of the leash here first, closest to the subject. And that did a really good job. Clean that up. Cool. And I'm going to get rid of the rest of the leash now. And did a pretty good job there. Going to clean this little part up there. And I see a little bit of red sticking there. Cool. So we cleaned that up. I see these little white things coming out of the eyes there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those up. Look like little pixels got scattered there. So I'm going to be a little bit more precise with my brush to prevent that sort of thing from happening. So get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'm super zoomed in here, so you can really see all the pixels in this case, and that random blue pixel that shouldn't be there. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out so the photo doesn't give me nightmares and clean up his nose a little bit of snot. There we go. She is nice and cleaned up, and so now I need to remove the volunteer. Her work is done. Always feels so evil when I say I'm removing the volunteer. I promise she is fine. She's just not going to be in this photograph anymore, but otherwise, she's okay. And I think she prefers not being in the photograph. So, full win. I'm using generative fill, and the volunteer has disappeared. And I think this one probably does the best job disappearing her. And I'm going to go ahead and save. And now the photo is magically in Lightroom Classic. Last few steps here. I'm going to the effects. I'm going to add a post-crop vignette of -15, darkening the corners, bringing the attention towards the center of the photo, in towards our subject, the beautiful leaf in the mouth. And I am also going to use my HSL tool, and I will bring the saturation of this green down in the photo overall. I bring the hues of the greens down towards yellow and orange. Really just want them to be less distracting. That's orange, while being a pleasing and warm color, is much less distracting than green. So that's why I'd make that change. I take the background. I'm going to lower the saturation of the background a bit. Just really emphasize that we want to look at the dog and not at the background. And then, not a normal part of the sequence, but this leaf is just adorable. So I'm going to go ahead and do the object selection tool, select the leaf, and I am going to bring the saturation up a bit, and I want to change the color of the leaf back to green. But I don't want it to look like this fake green, so I need to find that looks like a real green color. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Take that saturation, back it off a little bit, warm it up a little bit. All right. So now this dog found this beautiful super green leaf in the middle of all this dead brush, apparently. That's actually somewhat unrealistic, but hey, we're artists here, right? So this was before, this is after. So that's why I made those changes, because it blended in, and I really just, I don't know, it's cute. Anyway, and that's your dog.